Thank you, Chun, for the kind introduction. Dearest all, I am delighted to join all of you, my Philippines family, in this exciting launch of the new City Audio Magazine. I know Romeo, Edward, and so many of you have been working hard to make this happen. Here, I like to quote Romeo in his beautiful invitation to all of us, when he says that it is this same love that inspires New City Philippines to innovate, because love, by its very nature, doesn't stop. So here we are, New City Audio Magazine, an innovative way to love many who are alone and disrupted by Covid-19. Congratulations to Romeo and team. Innovation out of love is very much at the heart of the idea for New City Magazine when Kara Lubick, founder of the folklore movement, launched it in 1964. Her vision for New City was to be a path to fraternity, a tool for dialogue at all levels. Since then, more than 37 editions of New City has been published in different countries around the world. New City Philippines is one of them. In this period of isolation, we have a great need for Kara's vision. As this year marks the centenary of the birth of Kara Lubick, it is fascinating to learn through the exhibition and many testimonials about her life that this Italian woman, while pursuing a higher purpose, always did it strategically. She was deeply cognizant of the challenges against unity in the 20th century. We too need to do the same if we truly wish to fulfill the mission of New City in the 21st century. Covid-19 has unleashed a great period of soul searching, and this is especially true of media companies too. Here I am mindful, the Philippines is the land of great journalists, as many have given their lives for truth and freedom. But while we have individuals who are heroes, what about the news channels or magazines in our times? How can media act as a tool for dialogue at all levels? Just recently, in a scathing letter to New York Times publisher A.G. Schlossberger, opinion editor and writer Barry Weiss, who just resigned, wrote this, quote, "Twitter is not on the masthead of the New York Times, but Twitter has become its ultimate editor. As the ethics and morals of that platform have become those of the paper itself has increasingly become a kind of a performance space. Stories are chosen and told in a way to satisfy the narrowest of audiences, rather than to allow a curious public to read about the world and then draw their own conclusions. I was always taught that journalists were charged with writing the first rough draft of history. Now history itself is one more ephemeral thing molded to fit the needs of a predetermined narrative." End quote. A scanty comment, but let us look deeper at why even the esteemed New York Times feels the pressure of bowing to the trending lines of Twitter instead of being faithful to the words of Adolph Oates in 1896, quote, "To make of the columns of the New York Times a forum for the consideration of all the questions of public importance, and to that end to invite intelligent discussion from all shades of opinion," end quote. Even before Covid-19, the news media business model has been heavily disrupted. In Asia, large news media groups had to look for new owners to go digital and thrive in the new world. One example is South China Morning Post, the storied newspaper in Hong Kong. It had to turn to another billionaire to remake itself. Many other news media groups are trying to transform, but it has not been easy, with ad revenues declining. The national paper of Singapore, the Straits Times, is mostly able to survive only because of diversified holdings in other businesses, such as real estate. This crisis has made it worse. In the US alone, since this pandemic began, more than 36,000 employees in the news media business have either been laid off, furloughed, or had their pay reduced. Given such a competitive climate, in the name of relevance, many news media agencies have turned to follow the lead of Twitter to ensure that they continue to drive traffic to their news platforms, which then generate revenue. But this then creates another problem. A safe place that seeks to be a platform for dialogue must be able to strike a balance between purpose and profit. If not managed well, it cannot be a fair facilitator of the debates that matter in what the World Economic Forum has termed as a great reset for our world triggered by this pandemic. If we wish New City Philippines to be useful and relevant, then we cannot just be contented with being able to reach every one of these 7,100 islands. We have to find a way to be creative for its message to reach to the ends of the earth. The New City audio magazine is a start, but there need to be myriad other ways to go beyond the traditional forms of what makes a magazine. The first premise for any new idea, in my opinion, is always to remember what the first intuition was. In the case of New City, Carol's wish is for it to be a path to fraternity, a tool for dialogue at all levels. Then in every New City initiative, we need to examine ourselves carefully. Are we a path to fraternity? Are we engaging dialogue at all levels? All levels mean truly all, from children to workers, clergy, members of other religions, entrepreneurs, politicians. It may be daunting, but as Romeo reminded us that love doesn't stop, so we should not until the world is one. In every article of another storied newspaper, The Guardian, there is this beautiful call to action, and it asks, quote, "We chose a different approach. Will you support it?" With news under threat, just when we need it most, The Guardian's quality fact-checked news and measured explanation has never mattered more. Our editorial independence is vital. We believe every one of us deserves to read honest reporting. That's why we remain with you, open to all. And you're visiting in your millions. But at this crucial moment, advertising revenue is plummeting. We need you to help fill the gap. Every contribution, however big or small, is valuable. In times of crisis and beyond, support The Guardian today, end quote. For the 100 of us gathered here, we are here because we believe in the mission of New City, which is to be a media organization that shows the path to fraternity and is a tool for dialogue. And the best way we can overcome this long siege of isolation and disruption to good media is to help build a greater community to support New City here and everywhere. Let us continue by spreading the word about this New City audio magazine. Get our friends to subscribe to it. Share it on our social media. On average, on each of our social media accounts, we must have at least another 100 friends. Let them know that there is another kind of news magazine that is about love, being human, and a global family. I think if each one of us can do this, then New City, Philippines, can not only continue to be a beacon of hope, but with each new listener, reader, participant, it will get closer to shaping a united world. Congratulations to New City, Philippines, and thank you.